No, you don't consult a moral theologian who's in conflict with the teaching of the church. And vacancy in the law does not mean that the church has to say it every 10 minutes. If it's been said once and has not been changed, then that holds, see. So that was one of the reasons why Humanae Vitae was rejected. But it's also because of that climate that existed outside of the church at the time. This was the era of the Vietnam War protesters. It was the coming of age of the baby boom generation. More people were between the ages of, say, 14 and 22 in those years than it had ever happened in the history of the world. And it was also the age, of course, of the sexual revolution. And the sexual revolution in its root form depended on some new ways of understanding the world. Now, some of you may have heard me say this before, but I think it's absolutely vital. The sexual revolution was basically subjective, inductive, and experiential. And the teachings of the church, whether it's moral or doctrine, have always been couched in an objective, deductive, and principled universe. Now let me explain these. Objective truth says this pitcher of water is actually here, regardless of whether any of you can perceive it. Let's say there's a blind man or woman in the audience, okay? And she or he has not perceived this because she or he has not interacted with it at all, has not bumped it, has not heard it, has not had a drink of water from it, or whatever. And let's say this person, this happens almost never, but let's say this person really irritates me, okay? So I come off down the podium and I pour the water over his or her head. Does the water get her wet? How many say it does? How many say it doesn't? See, you're all objective. Objective says this pitcher of water is here and it's going to get her wet. Subjective says, no, it doesn't exist for her because it's not part of her reality, because she doesn't perceive it. Now, that's the formula for insanity in the Middle Ages. Because reality depends upon what I perceive. Objective truth says the reason why it's not perceived is because of flaw, tragic flaw, in the body of the blind person. That the flaw does not change reality, it only changes his or her perception.